afternoon.
Good. I want to thank everyone for coming today. And to get started, I will first introduce our speakers. And also, this month's sponsor for the program is Rosalind Lane and Betty Franklin. So I want to thank them for doing this. And we have Don Ward, Reverend Roy Price, Yvette Hutchings, and Dessie Armstrong. All of these were part of our the interviews that Betty and John Uznaga did for us as part of the exhibit we have out front. And first, what I thought I would do was I'll pass it to each of you first, and you guys tell us a little bit about yourself.
Let's start with the elder first.
Well, first of all, I'd say good evening. Yes, just about that time to everybody. And it's a pleasure to be here and to be a part of this great event and to be recognized with these other participants on today. God has been so good and kind to all of us for a long time, and because of his goodness, we're here today. This is Black History, and Black History is usually observed in what we call the month of February, but to me, Black History is every day. And that is something that I celebrate every day, my history and those who are around me. I was born in Lone Oak, Texas. Y'all know that's right down the road, about 15 miles. And there in Lone Oak, I lived for, I guess, until 1952, I believe it was, 59. We lived there with my mom and my other siblings, and there were many folk that were in Lone Oak. We started out, I was little, Dunbar Elementary School. How many you want me to do?
Just a few minutes, and then we'll get into a whole bunch.
Dunbar Elementary School, and there in Dunbar Elementary School, Irma Jean Waters, whom we just funeralized, and she was 97 years old, and we only had 3 teachers, Miss Waters, Ms. Olivia G. Scales, and Miss Hooker, Letitia Hooker. And those three ladies ran the school. Of course, Miss Scales was the principal, and we were there at the school, and that's where I really got my idea about wanting to become a gospel singer, a gospel piano player, and so forth. Miss Waters played, Miss Scales played, and Miss Hooker played. And they, you might not could understand really what they were playing, but they played. And that gave me an incentive to want to do also the same thing. So from a child, 7 years on up, that was in my mind. I wanted to play piano. And every chance I got, you would see me just beating. And finally, God gave me a little tune, and a little tune, and a little tune, and I did a little bit better and better. And I thank God that he gave me to what I received from him up until now. No, I never have ever had any formal piano music lesson. I don't read music. Everything I do it, they call it, what you call it? By ear. I play by ear. I hear it, and then I can play it. And that's the way I do it. And it's all because of God. It wasn't nobody but the Lord. And I also, during that time, I became enthused about funeral directing. And funeral men, men who were morticians or people who were working at the funeral home would come and have funerals in my hometown in Lone Oak, and they were so dignified and so they looked so well to me. I wanted to be that too. So I asked God to let me work my way to become a funeral director, and I went to high school. 3.5 years of college, and I went to mortuary school finally. And finally got a chance to go to mortuary school by a lady by the name Mrs. Carrie Grundy. Her husband had planned to send me to mortuary school, and just before I graduated, in fact, it was a week before I graduated, he passed away. And she said that she wasn't able to do it. And she couldn't do what he had planned to do. So I said, oh, well, okay. So I had my elderly sister, my oldest sister, Jean McSwain, who passed away about 2 years ago. She lived in Los Angeles. She sent for me. She put me in school in Los Angeles. I stayed there for one quarter, and it was so much. It was a very tasking job for her. So I didn't allow myself to allow her to continue on in that way. So I dropped out and came on back to Texas. Went back to Jarvis College and stayed there until Miss Grundy called one day and said, God told me to call you and to send you to school. And she did. And she paid every penny. And I said, what do you want me to do? When do you want me to start paying you back? She said, I don't. She said, well, do you want me to start? I said, whatever you want to do, go work where you want to work. I said, I want to work with you. So I did. I started working at the Grundy Funeral Home, stayed there until the Grundy Funeral Home closed down. Left that, went to Cozine in Tarver, and that's where I am as of right now. I am retired, I won't say retired, I'll say semi-retired, because I don't go down there every day, but when we get a body, I go and I work then. And so I'm semi-retired, but I'm still active. I still have my license. I still am a funeral director and embalmer, as well as a teacher. I mean, it's a school, not a school teacher, but a preacher, pastor of the Price Temple Church of God in Christ here in Greenville. The Lord blessed us, and we organized in 1975, and just a few months ago in November, I celebrated my 50th year as pastor of that church. Amen. And one church, as they say, one church, God blessed me to be there for 50 years. And I thank God for the folk. One of my church members just walked in. In fact, she's my secretary. The church that God blessed me with is a great church. And I thank God for being a part of that church and a part of Greenville. And I met Sister Franklin. Sister Franklin, amen, been knowing her a long time. I knew her father. And I'm fixing to close out on mine because I know I've been too long. Yeah. But I've been knowing her father for years. But I met Sister Franklin, and because of her, I am a part of this service on today, and we thank God that He allowed folk like her and folk like all of you to make this possible for us to be able to become a part of this museum, this Arthur Murphy Museum. And we're praying that God will continue to open your hearts and your minds, because this is a day and time that we all, and I do say all, black, white, red, whatever, it doesn't matter. We're all God's children. Yes. And it takes every last one of us to make it into the kingdom of heaven. Because you got to love me, and I've got to love you. I've got to, in fact, I'm preaching this evening at 2 o'clock at the place where I live. And I'm not going to try to preach now. But at the place where I live, which is Briarcliff Nursing Center. And on Tuesday evening, it's me and another white preacher. We alternate. So it's my turn to speak this evening at 2 o'clock. So my subject this evening is about love. God so loved the world. And because He loved the world, we've got to love each other. Amen? Amen. All right. Thank you very much for allowing me to speak and to be a part of this organization.
My name is Yvette Hutchings, and I'm not a minister, and I'm not that much of a speaker. I'm a musician. But I will tell you the story of my life. I grew up in the town of place called Wiggins, Mississippi. And my dad had a farm, and of course we would harvest things from down there. And the first thing he bought after we had sold some cotton was to buy a piano. And he bought a piano for us, and one of the ladies in the community who was a teacher taught me piano lessons starting at 11 years old.
Right.
And we were just so grateful. And you know, she only charged me 25 cents a lesson. I mean, you could probably tell that was a long time ago. But I took it and I learned. Let's see, I started lessons in September, and I played Where He Leads Me, I Will Follow at Christmas time for the Sunday school class where I was teaching. And so she thought, they all kind of saw some interest in me. And so when I got to be in the 8th grade, one of the ladies in the community decided, she says, you know, I know the name of a school where you may go and probably get more things than what we have here. And so she said, I'm going to introduce you to another school in the area of Jackson, Mississippi. And the name of the school was called Southern Christian Institute. And as you can tell, it was a Christian school, and it started with grades 9 through the second year of college. And so my parents were talked into letting me go up there. And believe it or not, I think my entrance fee was maybe $5. And that was all I had to pay. And they said, you just come on up here and we will work with you. And so I did, and I went up there, and they were taught us really. I mean, it was just different from the public schools, and that's not bragging, but I'm glad I went and had a chance to go. But in the mornings, we would go out and stand on the lawn of the school, and it was just really beautiful. And you would look at the sun, watch the sun come up, and you had a notebook in which you had to write down, what do you observe? What do you see? You only had 30 minutes. And so you wrote down your observations for that morning, and then you came back in and had breakfast and went to class. And so after doing that for about 4 years, and I graduated from high school, and of course, I'd had the highest grade average for that year, for the whole school, the time that I was there. And I was really lucky because I know my mom and dad really just didn't have the money, so you had to work and show that you were really appreciated being there. And then after I finished graduating from that school in Mississippi, I came to Hawkins, Texas, to Jarvis Christian College, which is a sister school to the school where I went when I was in high school. And I got into, I became the accompanist for the choir. That was where I learned to play the organ. And of course, my music teacher was from somewhere in the Bahamas, but he was very, very, very strict. Mr. Francis, everything just had to be just so. And that's what I learned, and that was the way I learned it. But you were taught how to do things and modulating meaning to change from one key to another. And all of those things, a lot of you probably know that already. And of course, you always will have singers. Some of them can sing in one key, but you can't maybe play it in that key, or maybe it's better done in another key. Yes, so you got to be able to what you call modulate, or to change it into another key. So. And then a lot of the cassette tapes that we would get for our choirs, the songs were done in another key, but what we had to work with, they couldn't sing it in those keys, so it was your job to change it and to get it where it was supposed to be. But I was glad that I had that, that experience and was able to do that. And so while I was at Jarvis, I met a young man by the name of James Hutchings.
Yeah, amen.
And of course, he too was a music major, but he had graduated 1 year ahead of me and had gone to Korea. And when he came back from Korea, he came back to get teachers. He wanted teacher certification. So he came back, and that's where we met. And we got married. And Greenville was wanting a band director at that time. And so he applied for the job, and he got the job. And in the meantime, churches all around were looking for people to actually work with their choirs. And so that's what we did. We taught, and then on weekends, we would work with choirs in different churches. And I just learned so many people because I was not a Texan, but I soon became a Texan. And so let's see, we went on, and of course we had a daughter, Dessie. She's at our house right now. And then he became a band director at the Carter High School, and I got a job as a teacher in Caddo Mills, and I was teaching the 5th and 6th grades out there. And of course, when they integrated the schools, then of course I came to Greenville, Texas, and this is where I started working as a teacher from kindergarten on all the way up to 7th and 8th graders. And then from there, of course, at the same time, I was also working with choirs. And so both of us could do that. He would direct the choir, I would play the accompaniment. And then we had a man by the name of Faith White. I don't know if you knew him, yeah. Mr. White. And he played the drums for us. Yeah. And of course, and we just had so many people. We see the pictures out there. So many people in the choir. And we had, I just really hate to talk about this incidents that happened with some of the men in our male chorus. They decided to go fishing at Lake Tawakoni. Yes. And you all probably remember that. And when they came back, that Saturday, they were going to just kind of stay down till that Sunday morning. And I think they tried swimming, and we lost about 2 or 3 of our male chorus members. And it's just still so sad just yet, but I just remember them. But they were just so good. But I guess the Lord had a better job for them than we did. And of course, I was going to say we went on, and our lives just kind of went on and on and on. And my husband passed away in 2011. And of course, I'm still bumping, so and working with the choir. And I can't really tell you all of the things that we've done, but I enjoy it. I surely do. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Reverend Cross.
Y'all trying to tell me it's my turn?
Yeah. Yes, Don, you know.
Well, as you all know that my start was back in the day. I think I was 7 years old when my dad first started me. I'm Donald Ward. I'm the musician and music director at Clark Street Christian Church. Thank God I moved on. It started me at an early age at 7 years old playing the guitar. And during those years, my dad had a gospel group. I was too little to go with them then. But thanks be to Reverend James Smith, he's dead and gone. He had this group called the Loving Five, and that's where I first got my start as a gospel musician. And during those years, I enjoyed all of it. My dad played with the Major Airs for many years, and later on they broke up. One went one way and one went another way. And my dad started a band. It was Eugene Finney, James Hutchings, and Belter Strickler and Faith White. And so I've had music equipment around me all of my life. They bought an organ because they had a band, and they put it in the trunk of the car. They had a little old Hammond organ. They put it in the back of the, no, it was a Lowry organ. They put it in the back of the car, and they carried it everywhere they went, you know. And so I started with Eugene Finney trying to take piano lessons. Unlike Reverend Price. That just wasn't my cup of tea. So I've had beautiful musicians that I come up around, starting with Miss Yvette Hutchings. I started playing around, and things that I could not comprehend, she'd hear. Miss Hutchins, I can't play this song. Will you show me how it goes? So she would take her time, and she would show me. Reverend Price, my brother, and we'll have to explain that some other time. My brother here, I went to him several times with stuff that I wanted to do. And I've met a lot of beautiful musicians since I have started in the gospel field. Things that they knew, they were glad to teach you and to help you with those. And that's the way that I am. I try to help everybody anytime that I can. But I've had, like I said, beautiful people like Miss Hutchins, Reverend Price, Eugene Finney, Jack Hicks, Mariner Gilstrap, that I came along with. And there was another lady, it was an older lady, she played at Goodwill Baptist Church. Her name was Florine Hunter.
Florine Hunter, yeah.
She was a beautiful musician. Also, Miss Irma Jean Waters, you know, she came along during that time and era. But I had a lot of musicians that I was behind because they taught me what I know today. And I think that's beautiful. If you have a talent, use it. So many times we don't do this. You know, I know musicians right now that will not play for a church. Why you don't play? God gave you that talent. Amen. So you use it. So I've been really, truly blessed to have the musicians around me that I have. In the city of Greenville, I played at a lot of churches. Sister Mary right there at Mount Elam, we've had some good times playing together. And then Carolyn Traylor, I've been to a lot of places with her. She's taken me down the road, out of town, a long way, and didn't know where I was going. But, you know, it's always good to tell people that you appreciate them while they live. Because when they're dead, they cannot hear a word. And they cannot smell the flowers. And I'm reminded of the guy that passed away. He was a preacher, he wasn't a preacher, he was one of the deacons at the church. And when he died, everybody was bringing the flowers and all of this. And this one lady that she had been knowing him for a long time walked up and put a beer can in the casket. And they asked him, why did you put that up there? Y'all put all them flowers up there and he can't smell them. So he can't drink this beer, but it's a memory. So you have to, you know, you have to have love in what you do. And I'm like Reverend Price. That's what I love to do. People call me all the time. I see people, you know, they kind of use you up sometimes. Ain't that right, Reverend Price?
Yeah.
But
oh yeah,
you have to get past that.
Yeah.
Use what God has for you to use. At one time, I played 7 instruments. But I don't have enough wind anymore to play a horn, so I don't. So I stayed at my guitar, my keyboard, and my organ. And thankful, real thankful to Miss Hutchins. She left that big old Hammond B3 with me. And I still play sometimes, but my left leg don't work good anymore, so I had to have a bass. And she said, boy, where'd you learn to play that bass like that? I said, listening to you. But it's people like that. People don't even teach music lessons anymore. You know, back when I was a kid, all the little girls had to learn how to play the piano in the neighborhood. I think it was Miss Dredd and there was another,
Miss
Miss Flannel.
Yeah, Miss
There were two
Flannel.
ladies, and everybody I know in Dogtown, my wife learned to play piano, and now she just look at them. But these were people that took concern of young people back then. And you know, I've been driving a school bus for 41 years. And let me
Amen.
tell you the change. These kids today don't respect themselves, their parents, or anyone else.
Anyone else.
Just think, when people like this crew that's sitting at this table and you are gone, what is our world gonna be left to? You know, I mean, I've got kids 7 and 8 years old that cuss you out on the bus. And I tell them in the school district, and I hate to say it, but I'm gonna say it like this. They got rules for everybody but the kids. The principals, most of them are afraid of the school board. The school board is scared of the parents. And the kids ain't scared of nobody. So we got to make a start, y'all, within ourselves. But music is my heart.
Yes, it is.
And, you know, I just wouldn't take nothing for my journey. Oh, you gotta push it down there, Dessie, down now.
Dessie fan.
All right, Dessie.
Yes. Okay. I'm Dessie Armstrong of Greenville, Texas. I don't play nothing. I never did learn how to play anything, but I do know music when it's right and when it's wrong. When they in the right key, when they out of the right key, I will know. Anyway, I started out where? Let's see. At I know y'all, St. Paul. Well, I was in Farmersville at first, and we moved to Greenville, so I went to school at St. Paul for a year or two, and I graduated at Bland. I mean at Merritt. I said, well, Merritt. It was at Merritt Tech. It was Bland School, right? Okay. Yeah, that's where I graduated. A year. And that's it.
How did you get involved in being called a promoter?
Oh, I'm getting to it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I worked at a private school in Richardson with what's that man name that just died? Johnny Pryor? Yeah, is it Johnny Pryor? The black man? Yeah. Yeah. I worked over there with his children and in that school in Richardson. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, at that private school. Yeah, until when I business, then I came home and sit down. But anyway, at Shady Brook, name of the school was Shady Brook. And then I came home and sit down. And then I started, I was singing with, they were singing, with a group called what the name of that group was?
Stars of Wonder? Or before then?
No, it was after then. Stars of Wonder had quit.
But I won't tell about the Stars of
The
Wonder.
Stars of Wonder back in the day, and
You were in your early years.
yeah, I used to travel around with Sunset Wonder and the Stars of Wonder back in the days, but that was, I can't remember all that anymore. Anyway,
You were their manager.
yeah, but I'm trying to think. I should have wrote this down. Huh? Doc, and his seat ain't helping me. Oh,
Yeah, you're doing good.
and where was I?
You traveled with the Stars of Wonder.
Yeah, I traveled with the Star of the One and try to sing. I got up one time in South Springs, gonna sing with them, and they told me to sit down. And started, I started booking. They told me to book for them. I said, okay. I, yeah, I couldn't stay on time with her. I couldn't, they always were beating it. I said, y'all going too fast. Y'all. They said, well, you sit down. And then I sit down and they told me to start keeping their books, so that's what I did. And then after then, I'll travel around with them for the longest. And then afterwards, then then they went out of business. Then I sit down for a little while, and then I started booking. Then I started to promote groups back in the days. And I know. Yeah.
I remember a lot of them.
Yeah, I know the keynotes real well back in the day, and I know Ron Price, and I know the Can Spirituals and all them in Mississippi, and I know the Highway QCs, and I know the Five Blind Boys, and I know what's that other group name? Oh yeah. Yeah, I know a lot of them. And yeah, they would come here. And this woman group, this out of I know Starlight, but the group from upstate, they used to come down here. I used to bring the Bethlehem East Church. What's the name of that group? Oh Lord, women, old women, big women. It was a big woman. And what?
I said, you talking about big women? I said, now, Starlight was
Oh no, yeah,
heavy women, but they could sing.
yeah, but this woman could sing too and travel. You know the name of her? You did too. Name of them? Oh Lord, I don't know who that is. Yeah, I got a picture of her somewhere buried, buried somewhere. But anyway, I brought them to Greenville and around, and I brought all of them back in the day, and then I brought the keynote to the auditorium, and that's why I run up on Carol. I want to get on the road. And I told him, I said, no, I got it all lined out we all want it. And I had the Davis boy around. I let him sing, and I told Carol, I said, you get the next one, but they want to jump me. Her and big, what's her name, what's her name? What's her name? Teresa. They were going to jump me because I wouldn't put them on the program. I said, well, go ahead and try. I said, go ahead and try. And my sisters and thing, they were living then, one of them, two of them, and they said, go ahead. So anyway, I stood up. And then after then, I started bringing Carolyn and Reverend Davis and his group. When you on that too, Reverend Price, on one of them, a couple of the pros. I couldn't sing. Yeah, I couldn't sing a lick. Yeah, but I know when they was out of tune and it wasn't right. And I put the Starlights, her group, Mary and Starlights on a couple of programs. And Dessie Brown and Highway, what's his name? His spiritual something. What's the name of Dessie Brown group? Spiritual. I had them all up there doing number two in the beginning. And I had Leroy Burt in the Connection. And then I had the boys out of Louisiana. They done got one and a car ran over them, killed killed him and everything. I thought, Lord, everybody dying for me. That's what I said around me. Yeah, but, yeah.
Dessie, how did you find all the groups? Or did they find you, or a combination?
Most of the time they found me, and then when I went to out of town, I run up on them down there. And then gave me the address and everything, and I'll go from there. Yeah. And what else you want to know?
I got a question.
For who?
Being on stage all the time, I'm a musician myself, and
I wouldn't know
I'm
none.
a music pastor. What is the biggest temptation that you guys have experienced throughout your years of playing this that? Because I know that there are, since you're in the limelight, people kind of flock to you. So, what would you say is your biggest temptation?
For what? Mine or his? Mine, I didn't have no temptation. I was sitting down. I was sitting down, I think, handling the money. Then if the money wasn't, if somebody else handling, then I came in there. And then they brought me in, introduced me. I was up on stage a couple of times and sit around. And that's about it. Yeah, I was sitting down. Yeah. Well, my back hurt now. I need to get out of this chair. Yeah. But you want to talk? Reverend Pryor?
Biggest temptation.
Your biggest temptation?
My biggest temptation? Biggest temptation, I guess, was perceiving the mood of the people. Yeah. Perceiving the mood of the people and wondering if this is it. Am I singing the right song? Am I saying the right words? Am I presenting myself in a way whereby I'm going to be accepted? How many people out there looking at me going to walk out, or how many are going to receive me? That's the most perceptive thing that I feel that, I'm part of. What do you?
Well, my thing was that a lot of times my dad taught me to watch the mood of the people.
Yeah.
Where there's gospel, where there's blues, where it's country and western, you have to watch the mood of the people. You can be playing a song and everybody sitting there looking at you. Mm-hmm. And my dad would stop in the middle of a song and start another one that would spark everything. That's the same way it is about gospel. I know I played with the Alex sisters. It was 5 of them. And we went down to a little town, I'm trying to think where it was, down in East Texas. We went to a holiness church. Now, most of y'all know Church of God in Christ. They jumping. Boy, we got in there, and Reverend Davis was with us. Reverend Davis had something funny to say at all the time. We got up and started singing. He started singing first. He looked back at me, Brother Boy, we ain't gonna get nothing done here. These folks look at us like a calf at a new gate. And me sitting up on the stage, I didn't want to laugh, but he was true. Wasn't nobody live in the church but the preacher. I mean, they would just sit there like, when are they gonna get through? Will they ever sit down? And it's disturbing. People wonder why some gospel groups break up. Little folks in little churches in little towns, you drive 100 miles to go sing, and they take up an offering of $50 and hand it to you. That wouldn't even pay for the gas in the car. We couldn't eat. So it was a struggle when you go to these little towns. And, I'm thankful for all of the big groups that I was on stage with. The Canton Spiritual, the Gospel Keynotes, the Highway QCs, and even Carolyn Traylor. That was a thrill. That was my girl. You know, she played, Fred Thomas, Slim Thomas, my brother, Reverend Price's son played drums, and Tyron played drums. And then there was a young man by the name of Jason. Now that young man thrilled me. He came from Los Angeles, California. He was James Allen's son.
Yeah,
That kid was tremendous.
he was born tremendous.
He could play in any key,
Yeah.
anytime. He could modulate at any time, and he could tell you where he was going. Because his daddy and them sent him to all of those workshops, and he learned from some of the
Yep,
greatest.
that's right.
And he had an attitude that same way. Beautiful attitude to be a young man. That young man, every time he played, just made me cry. And it wasn't because I was hurt, it was because I wanted to play like him.
Yeah, that's true.
He was, Reverend Pryor can tell you, he was a beautiful musician.
Yes, he is.
You know, and people that play,
James,
James Allen, I think, passed away.
his dad died.
Yeah. But he was out in California, but I hadn't saw him, and
He's in Houston now.
is he in Houston? But you know, it's been some great musicians that come along that really inspired me. But these two right here are my role model. Miss Hutchings and Reverend Pryor. These are role models. And the life you live will speak for you. That's all I got to say. You can go where you need to go now.
Yeah, I remember when, during the interview with the Clark Street, they mentioned you, Yvette, several times in their interview, so that was really cool. Yeah, I think, if I remember right, you were one of the first,
Yeah.
is it teachers, or,
Yeah.
there might
I
have been
think
one
Eugene
other.
Finney was, well, Tommy Mitchell, because he was,
Mr. Mitchell.
yeah, because he
Yeah.
played the piano on Noah's Ark when it came over.
Dog.
He was an exceptional musician.
Very exceptional.
He was good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah.
yeah. And Mr. Mitchell was one that he did not bite his tongue.
That's right.
If you didn't play it right, son, quit.
Yeah,
See me out to church so I can show you how to do that. That's not right. But he could take an old upright piano and you would think he was on a baby grand in the Grand Cathedral.
Yes, yes, he could.
Yeah, he was somebody's musician.
Yes, he
And I know when I first started going around Clark Street with Tommy Mitchell and Miss Hutchings, and after Mr. Mitchell passed away, I've been at Clark Street 30-something years. But when I went back to Clark Street, Miss Hutchins was still playing the organ. And she knew that I didn't play in all the keys, so Mr. Hutchins bought a piano that had a transpose on it.
Thank God.
Thank God for transpose. Because Miss Hutchins could play in all of those keys, E flat, A flat, C sharp, whatever. But me and poor Reverend Price, we had two or three
Keys, that's it.
But like she said, she had been taught. She was taught well. She learned how to read music, and that was something thrilling. It was thrilling to me. And my daddy tried to teach me, but boy, it was hard. Miss Hutchins said sometimes he could dissect a chord that she said she got lost, but he would.
name all the parts.
Yeah, he would name all the parts of the 9th, the 10th, and the major minor 7th, and I'd be wondering, what is he talking about? But, that he was like Miss Hutchins. He went to school at Jarvis Christian College. He majored in music, and he taught music up until probably about 4 months before he passed away.
Sure did.
He was still trying to teach. And, when my dad passed,
Those cards.
yeah,
Those cards. Knew when you were playing around.
yeah, we were looking through his he had little old, the little white cards you buy about. Index cards is what I was trying to thank you. When he passed away, my brother and I went in there, and we were looking through the cards and all the students that he had. Well, we counted up to 3,000. We couldn't count.
He had everybody.
He had everybody's little child that if their finger didn't reach, he'd find a guitar that was small enough that they could learn to play the guitar. And I noticed when he, I got so tickled, I told him, Daddy, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. He said, for what? I said, for sleeping through that little boy's guitar lesson. He was taking dialysis, and when he got home, he was tired. And he had several little guitar players that were still coming to him. And he had an old chair that had wheels on it, and the house was on level. And when he started, he would be beside the student, and he sat there and go to sleep, and that chair would roll back in the corner. And I would sit there. He said, well, son, but I tell you what, even though he was asleep, he knew exactly when 45 minutes was up. He said, okay, I'll see you next week. And so, you know, he was a thrill. He was as gentle as a lamb. You know, I mean, my dad, he had his cows, his horses, but now if you wanted to make him mad and get on the wrong side of him, you mess with his cows, his horses, then come his family and his kids. But, I mean, he was just, I mean, Miss Hutchings could tell you, he was just, you never heard him fuss.
No.
He didn't raise his voice, but he only whooped us twice a year. And if you got that second whooping, you done something very bad. But you tell God you had that first whooping. Because he was very, very stern with his children and anything that he was around. And he told you just how to wrap it, and he didn't bite his tongue.
But Mama was good.
Yes, my mama could grow something. She could take that hat and put some dirt in it and grow something out of it. I mean, Miss Hutchings could tell you she just had a green thumb. I mean,
Yes, she did.
and she could, if she seen you with a dress on and she wanted that dress, she would go buy the material. And she'd make that dress, and then she'd look at her shoes, that don't match this dress, and she would cover those shoes with what she had left of material. Miss Hutchings could tell you, there's been many a time she had the same color shoes with her dress, you know. But she could make anything, crochet, cook, sew, anything. I had a good family, and I love my mom and daddy. I tell the world, I had two of the best. But she took my saxophone one time, I was in the band. Mr. Hutchings was mad, but I didn't pass my grades. Mama started no pass, no play in 1967. She took that saxophone and she stuck it up under the bed and she said, you better not touch it. When I got my grades up, she pulled it out. She said, now you can go back and play. But parents like that made this world a better place.
That's right, that's right, that's right.
We got kids raising kids now. We have no more parents. Some kids were raised by their grandparents. And that was probably the best thing for them because mom and daddy didn't care. They was out in the street, they were gone. You know. But people, we got to get back and get our kids back up. We don't. We've got a losing battle.
I am curious, how many out here had his dad, TJ, as your music teacher? Anybody? No? I was curious. I was wondering if anybody had.
I don't think anybody that I see had guitar.
To add something to it, back in the 40s, Armstrong might have brought them in, but they used to bring a group in like the Fish Jubilee thing. Fish University used to come through the auditorium. And they used to have I never forget this lady's sister, Rosetta Thorpe. Sister Rosetta Thorpe.
Yeah.
She turned out the auditorium.
Yes, she did.
She would get one of that mic with that guitar. She was better than B.B. King. But she was pretty. Sister Marie Knight. They would just come through.
She went to East Texas down overseas. She used to
Greenville was a hub for gospel music.
Yes, it was.
The churches, most of the pastors, they would preach at 11 o'clock service. Night service, they would have a group from Dallas singing, a spiritual, a quartet from somewhere else singing for the night service. Greenville was a hub for spiritual music. That's in the 40s.
I
I wanted to ask you a question also about my uncle that's deceased, Reverend Ronald Davis.
Yes.
Because I was told that the way he played, it was unbelievable.
It was.
Yep.
Reverend Davis, I don't care, he was another one that was a ear player. He played by ear, but if you started off in H flat, he would find it. That's one thing I love about Reverend Davis. It didn't make no difference what key it was. He would find it. Now he played it in his style, but he was gonna play that song so it would help you.
I want to add to that because I heard a lot of the singers come up that would tell the piano player, catch up with me. And I think that is such a good talent. I know they taught you that as well.
Well, I know one, Miss Dosha Sanders, when she used to sing, I said, Miss Dosha just started. Now I find you somewhere about the third or fourth key. I'll find it. But like Reverend Price and I, we don't play in all the keys. But thank God for transposers.
Yeah.
That it helped us to maneuver around. Miss said it don't sound in the right key to her sometimes, but anyway.
I didn't say that.
But it helped us to follow people that don't really know how to sing.
That's me.
Yep.
They start off in F and end up in H flat.
Sure do.
You know, I mean, and then some people, I just quit because I got taught to transpose.
Can't keep up with them.
You can't keep up with them, timing is bad,
Yep.
and then they can't sing to start with. I hate to say it, but I just tell them the truth. You know, I be wanting to tell about the church.
But I know when you sing.
You know-
I don't even try.
Like Dessie says, she know when it's right, but she can't sing. And then like I tell people all the time, don't worry, will you sing a solo? Have y'all ever seen me sing a solo?
No.
But I will. I have certain songs that I can sing and play. You know, but Reverend Price, a lot of times he'll go somewhere and he'll see me. I'm going to sing well, if I know the song, I'll play for it. You know, and one of the songs that he does, oh yes, I'm one of them today.
That's your theme song.
That, yes.
What is y'all's favorite song to play? Everybody's got that one song.
I don't play that.
Oh, God, I got so many of them.
Yeah. Well, one of my favorite tunes, I guess I got it from my aunts, because on my dad's side, and I didn't understand this, all of my aunts played the piano, but they went to Church of Christ. You know, and they don't have pianos in Church of Christ, but every one of them could play. And I didn't understand that, you know. But one of my favorite hymns is Blessed Assurance, Jesus is mine. And there's one that Carolyn sang, Yes, God is real. And those songs bring tears to my eyes because it's from way back. And Miss Louise Daniel used to play one, and I used to hate to hear her play it, but it was a song called Trust and Obey.
Yes.
She had some beautiful hymns that she played back then, but she played them in the key was written in the book. You moved the book, song was over with. But, you know, and me, if you put a book up there, by the time I got through reading it, you'd be through at church, evening service, and be ready to start Sunday school the next Sunday. So, you know, I'm like Reverend Price. I'll find out as Miss Hutchings say, I find the melody and I put something around it. You know.
Reverend Price?
Yes.
Your favorite song to sing?
Well, the one they was talking about a few minutes ago, I'm one of them today, that would be my favorite. If I had to choose one. Well, I like them all, but that would be the one right there if I was gonna just say a particular one. How I came to love these Christians. Yeah. One of them, I'm one of them today. Christian today. Saint of God today. That's it.
you ladies?
I love Amazing Grace.
Amazing Grace. Sing a lick.
Amazing Grace.
Because I know, you had told me you had a master's in music and classical music. Can you tell us more about your training?
Oh, well, it starts with each school that you go to, you have where they have a program, a group of songs. A group of songs that you, I mean, not a group of songs, but a group of studies that you had to pass into, and lots and lots and lots of theory. Now, theory meaning writing the notes and adding the notes to the chords and all of that type of thing. And you had to learn all of the chords, and just everything that is to know about music. And of course, you learn it, but unless you work in a place where you can use those skills, you don't always keep them. Keep them, and you be down to the key of C, key of F for everything. But I try not to be that boring. But it's one of those things you have to practice the skills in order to be able to do it. And work with singers who are able to sing in those particular keys that you are playing in, or that the songs are playing in, or that you can transpose to. So there are a lot of things that go along with it, and it just depends on where you're working.
Oh, okay. I know you told me the story about you played Beethoven at the hall, at one of the halls at one of the college. Would you expand on that?
Yeah, well, Beethoven was a composer. And so Beethoven would be the songs that he wrote when he was composing, the songs. And if you've ever had piano lessons of the things, and that you have books written by him, and this is what you had to learn if you were going to pass certain courses and so forth and so on. It's nice to know that. Depends on where you're working, because you may not always have to use something that, those skills. So it's just good to know it all.
Yes.
Whether you use it all or not, but know it all, and practice that you don't use for a while. And that just helps, keeps the brain. I don't know, my brain's gone. But it's just one of those things. You keep working with it, it will stay there, you won't lose it.
And I know you still have joy because you still play.
Well, yeah. We don't, I enjoy it, but the group does not, you have to depend upon your group, with who you're working with. It's just like in school, if they can't read, you don't give them a big book to read.
Right.
You find something that's on that level. And so you do the same thing with music. At least I do.
I know some of you had mentioned that one of your teachers was Miss Scales. With something a little bit off topic, but something I'm looking for is a photo of her. I don't have one, and there's not one online. So if anybody has any ideas where I can find a photo of her, let me know.
Her son may have one.
Yeah, her son, he's a pastor in Dallas. I'll see if I can.
If you could, that would be awesome.
You do?
Because
Okay.
we're covering her in one of my exhibits.
Okay.
Because she has fascinating history herself. And I could not find a good photo.
GEUS.
Yeah, he's still living, isn't he?
GEUS is still living.
Oh, yeah, he lives in Wolf City.
Yeah, he lives in Wolf City.
The granddaughter is $2.
Yeah, because I saw them here not too long ago. GEUS was he's kind of feeble,
Yeah.
getting around, but one of his daughters was helping him with his bank accounts and stuff. But he still lives up at Wolf City in her house, I believe.
Yeah.
Well, if one of you guys don't mind getting in contact with them.
I'll do my best.
I'll get you my.
Okay.
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, awesome. Sorry about that. All right, cool. Any other questions?
I have a question with Reverend Price before we end. I know that back in the, I guess it was 80s, he had the mass choir, and the children loved, the young children loved the mass choir. Could you expand a little bit on the mass choir and how you got the choirs going?
Oh, well, yeah, I'll make this quick.
Make it quick.
Yeah, I got to get back to the church,
Yeah, make it quick.
back to the place. But I was a member of the Greater Rose of Sharon. Well, it's greater now. I was a member of Rose of Sharon Church of God in Christ, and there being a member of the church, we Sister Zora was there, and of course she played when she was there, but she played for other churches also. Some of the time she wasn't there, but I played for the youth choir, and we had maybe about 5, 6, 7, 8 young people that were there. Well, these young people would go out and tell other young people, oh, we got a choir, we got a choir, we got a choir. And we can sing, And they would invite other churches, and it ended up I had almost 100 voices because of their, reaching out to other young people. They didn't belong to that church, but they would come and sing whatever we had ever seen. And I think Sister Tidwell, her husband belonged to New Hope, and her daughters belonged to New Hope with him, but she was a member of Rose of Sharon. But they came to Rose of Sharon to sing, and that's the way it was. We gathered up youth all around, and to be, to organize that choir, and we would go from church to church, and even out of town. People heard about us to sing until I was unctioned by God to organize my own church, and when I did, the choir disbanded. But that's how it got started, and that's how we kept it going.
Is it somebody else?
Yes.
Okay, I don't have a question, but I have a couple of comments. I have a personal friendship and relationship with everybody that's up there. Dessie Armstrong is my very first booking agent. She went with us everywhere that the group went. Dessie went. In fact, she was the one that stayed awake because we would all go to sleep.
And
So she had the money, and she would support us 150%. So Dessie, I thank you so much for that. She is the one that got me on the road, and I appreciate you for that. I never will ever forget. And the sister Yvette, I love her disposition. I would see her on the keyboard, just sitting there. She would be so, oh my God, erect. She would just be there, and she's so beautiful. And then I don't think she's ever had an enemy in her life. I've never been around. I've been around all my life, but I don't think she's ever had an enemy. And I used to love when people would compare me to her and go, are y'all in? Because y'all both got dimples. So I love that.
It's good seeing you
Thank you so
again.
much for allowing me to practice in your church so many times. You allowed us to practice in your church. Don Ward, I would wake him up at 7 o'clock in the morning. His family would wake up and let my group come into their den every Saturday, the Saturday mornings that we were off. Let us come into the den and practice, and Don would answer the door, or his wife, and they would say, come on in, and they go back to bed. They trusted us that much, so I just wanted to.
I think I finally gave you a key, didn't it? Go on.
I just wanted to offer a personal thank you to every one of you all. You all have been so instrumental in my ministry.
Since Carolyn was up, her dad and her brother, I loved it, Mr. Crawford and oh, you know what I'm talking about. Q Trailer. I got to tell this because it's been funny to me ever since it happened. Q passed away, and Carolyn asked us all would we come and play for Q's funeral. Well, it was in Bethlehem. My brother was playing, Betty Jo was playing, and I can't remember who was playing drums. But anyway, when the whole thing was over, we came outside. Carolyn said, I want to thank y'all for all that you've done. I really do appreciate it. She got a crazy sister. Ernestine said, yeah, we thank you. And then she looked at Carolyn, what'd you do? That has stuck with me forever because Ernestine never did crack a smile. She said, Yeah, we really do appreciate. What did he do? So, you know, every time I see Carolyn, I think about that and I get tickled. But Q was one of my, he also was a great singer too. And Mr. Claiborne Flinall, back in the days, he had a gospel group that was here around the area of Greenville.
Yeah.
And they didn't use no microphone, but you could hear them sing. Well, I'm done. I'll be quiet now.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. We've had so much fun. And Miss Betty has something she'd like to give all of you. And if you guys will stay around for a little while, we have some other things for you.
Betty, you need my stick? Or you
I
got,
might,
I forgot you. You just got to get up first, get to moving around.
Okay. We interviewed this group, and I had such a good time interviewing them. And when I told them we were going to discuss Black history, African American history, and they all was willing to participate. When I interviewed Donna Ward, we were in the sanctuary of the church, and you probably could see the video. We did a video. There's a video we're going to have on display that you can see, and we decided to put it in a booklet format. So we want to give you this booklet format of the interview we had.
And we will also be posting one a week on the museum's YouTube page.
Yeah, so you can see all the interviews that we conducted. We also did the Bower sisters.
Mm-hmm.
So once a week you can look on YouTube, right? Mm-hmm. And it will be there. Okay. And this is your gift. We appreciate you so much. Yeah, thank you, card in here. Oh, and you also have a thumb drive. So if your grandchildren want to show you how to use a thumb drive, you can watch it at home, the complete interview.
I'm so glad you said grandkids, because I can't even run on a computer.
Dessie, okay. Thank you very much, Dessie, for the interview we had. And Dessie, your booklet, your picture, and your picture was in the newspaper. Thank you so much. Again, you have a thumb drive for your nieces and nephews. We have more little gifts off in here as well. Okay. Ms. Hutchings, you were in the newspaper too, you know that. Ms. Hutchings, she said everybody call her Hutch these days. But anyway, I want to thank you so much for your interview. I really enjoyed. I learned so much from you. And again, for your, you have a thumb drive. You have a little gift in here as well. So again.
So y'all didn't really know her real name, did you?
No.
Tutti Frutti. That's what Mr. Hutchins called it.
Your story.
Oh, thank you.
What it is a copy of the interview we had here. It's a copy of the interview, also pictures in the back.
All right.
And so when you want to look at it, you have it on the thumb drive.
Okay.
Okay, here it goes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you guys so much for participating in the interview this year on gospel music.
You put that back on there.
Thank you guys, and I just want to blank on who next week's
Not yet.
speaker is, but we have another speaker next month on the first Tuesday, so welcome and enjoy it. And if you haven't seen the exhibit, it's on the way out. It's really cool.
This video has been brought to you by GEUS. GEUS is your community-owned provider for electric, internet, cable TV, and true local programming.